Yes, people, I'm back. And I was off YouTube for a little bit, but I'm back. You know what I mean? Weekly reactions, going to be daily reactions in a few. But do make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Quick, do that now while you're watching it. I've missed it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is obviously my club. The first thing I want to talk about is Kieran Tierneys and the performance of Arsenal. I was meant to do this a few weeks ago, but Arsenal have really picked up form since the Chelsea game. It's not just the amount of goals that we're scoring now; it's the fact that we're actually playing attacking football, and I think that's mainly because of, not mainly because of, but I think a large attribute will be to Saka going on the right wing, and Will Smith-Rowe. Obviously, we're playing with a number 10 now, and Tierney being able to bomb down the left-hand side. See, in football, it's not really as hard as what you make it out to be. People make it seem like it's rocket science, but it's not. If you have someone that's like Tierney, who's got good pace and a good cross on him, you want to give him as much space as possible. By putting another left midfielder there, left-footed left winger there, you're pretty much two players playing on top of each other. But him, obviously, Saka going to the right, and he's a revelation. We'll talk about him another day. But it's opened my eyes. Now, yesterday, who do we play? We played West Brom. Now, I would like to slag on West Brom and Big Sam, but because Big Sam said we're relegation contenders, whatever, we're in the relegation battle. They backtracked yesterday, mate. None of that. But I will say this, look, West Brom have they've conceded 5 and 4 goals in the last 2 games. Look, we knew we were going to be West Brom. I think that's a given. But how we beat them, I was quite impressed. You see the 1-2, the third man run from Will Smith-Rowe, the patterns of play. I mean, then I don't know if that was Kieran Tierneys or Roberto Carlos. I don't know. That was amazing. He beat, I don't know who, I think it was Furlong, beat him, cut back in, right foot, top corner. I mean, it's amazing to see. And going also just on this match, you're looking at I'll say our best defender was Gabriel in the league. At Arsenal is Gabriel. Yeah, the fact that he's been out for, I believe it's 2 match weeks or 3 match weeks, and Pablo Mari is stepped in, and we haven't missed a beat. It is a testament to Pablo Mari. I'm quite harsh on him, but it shows how good we're playing. I mean, if you say your best centre back is going down for the next 2 to 3 weeks or whatever it is, or 3 games, you're going to be worried. I mean, especially Arsenal, who can't defend for anything. But now we look like a top side, and I like where things are going. I mean, we haven't inserted Partey yet. Aubameyang's not firing in all cylinders. But that's what happens in football. Not all the time you're going to have your front 3 bagging. You know what I mean? Saka, Lacazette scored 2 and Saka scored 1. Now, not all the time, but Aubameyang did have half chances. 2 at the back post where he could have, if he was just a little bit sharper, I reckon he might have gotten to the end of it, or if the ball was better. But look, I love what I'm seeing. Just quickly on the lineup, I saw El Neni came out for Ceballos. Obviously, you're playing West Brom, who are more of a they don't pose that much of a threat going forward, so there's no point in putting El Neni there. You know what I mean? Xhaka and Ceballos played well. They've played a lot of games together. They played well, and Will Smith-Rowe was just there, picking what he's doing, what he does best. Getting into certain positions. He was getting into certain positions, and what I like about him, he's actually both-footed. But the fact that he's able to get in certain positions and it'll be a one-touch pass. He doesn't hold the ball for too long. So once he does a shot pass, somebody else has to get into it, if that makes sense. Someone else, like a Lacazette, is thinking, all right, I can't just be watching around and see what he's going to do and get my popcorn out. I have to be on the ball, you know what I mean? And he will find you. I'm not saying he's Kaka. I'm not saying he's Kevin De Bruyne. But he's made a huge difference to this Arsenal side. But you need a playmaker. And that's what he is. I mean, he's got the low stocks like Grealish. He glides around the pitch. What a player, man. Shout out to Smith-Rowe. I mean, I don't want to overwork him, but he looks like a good player, man. If we are able to recruit well in January, then maybe we might pull a few games together and, maybe look at Europe. Maybe that's a push, but, we'll see where things are going. You never know what happens in this league. I mean, we're only 3 points off Chelsea, who spent 222 million. So, yeah, that's all. I can't even take anything else from West Brom. They're just absolutely shit. Talking about Chelsea and Man City, I don't know what else could be said, because what I've noticed is we give leeway to people that we like. Not me personally, but we give leeway to people we like. I believe if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Arteta, even Pep to an extent, Jose spends 200 million, he has to win the league, or he has to be top 2, top 3. You're looking at a team that's 8th, and they spent 200 million. How many more millions, Frank? You can't. What they're going to say is, "Oh, we sold this player. We had a choice for transfer ban." All right, you have these players now. You finished Champions League. You got Champions League football last season. I believe you finished 3rd. I believe it was. So I want to know what the excuses are now, because we already know the English press are not going to say anything about Frank Lampard as they would about Ole, as they would about Arteta. You know what's funny? Yeah, Arteta had the bad on the games, and where everyone's talking about Poch. Everyone's talking about Tuchel. I hope I say his name right. When it's Ole, they were talking about Poch as well. They're talking about Allegri. I come to when it's Frank. No one bats an eye. No one says nothing. It's funny to me. Yes, obviously he's one of the greatest footballers to touch Premier League, but that's got nothing to do with your managerial ability. Di Matteo won the Champions League and got the chop like 6 months later. Was it Di Matteo? I think it was. Got the chop like 6 months later. Get what I'm saying? I don't understand how it works. I mean, Frank Lampard, we'll talk about Man City in a second, but it's getting to a point where people that are saying Mason Mount, is the reason why we're losing. Chelsea fans are losing games. Because I see it on my TL a lot in some of my group chats. People are saying, "Oh, why is he always picking Mason Mount? Why is he always picking Mason Mount?" Mason Mount does lead your team in assists this season. Mason Mount is he's a workhorse. When I watch Chelsea, I don't say Mason Mount is a weak link or he's the reason why they lost. I understand when people say that they want want change or whatever, they want someone new to come in, or you can't have one person play every single game, which is fair enough. But at the same time, it's like who's the players that's gonna come in? Because Kai Havertz, he got the assist today, but you could say he's struggling for the last to adapt to the Premier League. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he's struggling. And then who else plays in the midfield in that area? You want to put Kante in the 8? Or further forward? Sorry. Do you want to put Ziyech and moving him into the middle? It's just not going to work. So just stop complaining about Mason Mount. Yeah. Now that whole team, Reece James, team looks tired. Team looks done. Kepa, he gets slagged off a lot, but I've been telling you, he's not as bad as you think. He's not a great goalkeeper. I'm just putting it out there. But people thought that Chelsea's problems were going away because they were playing Sheffield, who only have 2 points this season, because they were playing Brighton, because they were playing Fulham, all these kind of teams. You thought that Chelsea's problems were going away. I said it. Wake me up when Chelsea beat a big team and I am still sleeping. That is the problem. I'm still sleeping. You know what I mean? They're going to get smacked in the Champions League by Atletico. It's going to be a delicious day. Now, without slagging off Chelsea, I need to talk about Man City. In that first half, I can't remember the last time I saw Man City play that way, especially against a big side, since the 198 two seasons that they got 198 points in that first half. That first half, they were dominating. That counter-attack looked peak. Foden, Bernardo Silva, and Raheem Sterling, I think what quality players they are. And Gundogan, who gets slept on a lot. You know what I mean? We always talk about De Bruyne. He did score and I believe he assisted. But we talk about De Bruyne. Gundogan's having a low-key, quite a good season. You know what I mean? He opened the deadlock. He smashed it in. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. You know what I mean? He's not obviously the most physical, but he's a real technical player. I like him a lot. This whole thing about Man City is, if you think people are forgetting, they're actually I believe they're on 29 points and other teams are on like 33, I believe it is. So there's a 4-point gap. They've got 2 games in hand. you never know what's going to happen. They're just going, they're going along, they're ticking along, and they're flying under the radar, if that makes sense. Now, one last thing, I was told that Thiago was the best centre back. See, here's my thing about Chelsea fans, and a lot of fans actually, but mainly Chelsea fans, because they've had a history of sacking managers. Well, hang on just a minute. Early this year, I was told that Chelsea were going to win the league. They spent 200 million. So last year, during the summer, this is what happened. Chelsea finished third with no transfer window. And then they spent 200 million. I was told that's going to win the league. You're now eighth, and you're now talking about the manager needs to go. I don't understand how it doesn't correlate to me. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. You got slapped up by Pep and his bald head at Stamford Bridge. Mate, you want to, Frank, you might want to step it up. Now, I'll touch on a few games in the league. Obviously, as he had a bad boy goal at Crystal Palace, versus Sheffield. Sheffield, for me, are probably the worst Premier League side of all time. I mean, you've played 16 games, you've got 2 points. I reckon if I get 10 of my friends together, we give Sheffield a run. They're just that bad. Man United versus Aston Villa, which is obviously Aston Villa are a great side. Well, not great, but they're a good side. I like obviously Grealish and El Ghazi and what's that man's name? Bertrand Traore's been on fire. Grealish has finally moved into the middle. It was an interesting game. I mean, Man United set up how I thought they would. Pogba's obviously back in the side now, and Bailly has been playing quite decent ever since Lindelof's injury. But for some reason, Man United are second, and I'm just not convinced. I'm not convinced. Maybe it's the we'll talk about that in a minute, but the penalties. But I just don't see it. What other people see. They have been beating a few teams, but the way they're going about and beating them, it's a bit dubious. I believe it's 33 penalties in 50 odd games or 58 games or whatever it is. That's what? Is it 58? I think it's 52. Something like that. I'll probably put at the bottom. But 33 penalties in 50 odd games, 52 games, that's ridiculous. I don't think that's sustainable. I say that. It's been over 2 years by now. But look, I'm not saying they're a bad side, but I just feel like without the calls that they get, I don't think any other club gets them. Yeah, and people are going to be like, oh, Max, you're just a bitter Arsenal fan, you just hate Man United. Yeah, I do hate Man United, but just me being dead serious. The amount of penalties they get, it's ridiculous. I mean, I saw Pogba tell Luke Shaw to go down the other day. I'm trying to remember how they even, Rashford and Martial, mate. You know what I mean? If you look at them, they're going down in the box. I like Rashford, obviously, but if you look at them, they're going down in the box. And that's one thing I actually give credit to them to. They don't let the referee make the decision. They make the decision for the referee. I don't see Man United players staying up. They will go down. And you know what? As much as I slag them off, the second in the league, it's working. Do you get what I'm saying? They're doing something right. Even though I believe that Bruno is probably the most impactful player in terms of numbers-wise. He's like the midfield version of Mo Salah. But I just don't see him having a great game without scoring. But if he's able to do that, I reckon Man United are going to the next level. We're looking at contending to win the league maybe next year. Now Leeds. The one thing I say is, Leeds, everyone, and you ask anyone, Leeds play exciting football. But to whose benefit? They are an up and down team. They make football interesting. That's one thing you can say. You're never going to get a boring Leeds game, yeah? But the fact that they're getting pumped week in, week out, well, not week in, week out, the fact that they're getting pumped and Bielsa doesn't change anything about it. He doesn't go defensive and think, all right, how about we hit them on the counter-attack? It's like Leeds have one style of football, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we're going to hold 6 at the back. It doesn't matter. Fair play to them, you know what I mean? They come out week in, week out, and it doesn't seem like a loss phases them. Obviously, they're professionals and whatnot. But I just feel like sometimes you stop the bleeding. Just my opinion. Sometimes you have to stop the bleeding. Maybe if you've conceded one, you go a bit defensive and try hit them on the counter until it's second half, and then you try, maybe go expansive again because they can score. But if it's not for, I think it's Melier, I believe it is called, the Leeds goalkeeper, he's only like, 19, 20. We're looking at cricket scores week in, week out. And the last thing I want to talk about, is the hypocrisy and the obsession we have with nostalgia. Yeah? Right. When I do it as well, we do it with wrestling, we do it with boxing. Oh, that era was better in my day. Oh, in football, those players were better in my day. Oh, in anything. Or movies back then, TV shows was better in my day. All right, see, Liverpool, I think might win the league. And if they win the league, that means they won it on back-to-back, and they finished 97 points, 96 points the season before that. They bottled the league, you could say that, but they went to 2 Champions League finals. Here's my thing. Everyone's saying the league's weak now, but no one said that when Man United won 3 titles in a row. Then the next thing they're going to say is, oh, look at us in the Champions League. Oh, hang on. I'm not a Liverpool fan, obviously. Liverpool got to the Champions League final against, obviously, the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest Champions League side in the last 10 years, Real Madrid. And their best player got his shoulder snapped by Sergio Ramos. The next year, they beat Tottenham, and obviously, then they win the league. I don't understand how we can say that back then it was competitive, but Man United won it 3 times in a row. But now it's the level of football has gone down. The quality of players have gone down. Just because Liverpool are rolling with the league. I don't understand, especially in the last few weeks or over the last 12, 18 months. I don't understand that. Why don't we just accept that Liverpool are just a great side? And you can say maybe every team has their run. This is Liverpool's time. They obviously didn't win a league for how many years? 30 years, I think it was. You know what I mean? But this is their time. We need to... if they win the league this year, I personally believe they are a top 5 Premier League side of all time. That's my opinion. But the reason why I say that is because you're looking at a team that went to 2 Champions League finals back-to-back, then won a league, and we're looking at their title contenders right now. Do you know what I mean? They could have actually did a double if they didn't bottle it, but they did. But we're looking at a side where Mo Salah is smashing numbers. Van Dijk is a great centre-back. The 2 right-backs and left-backs of Liverpool, they can get into most sides in Premier League history. Yeah? I'll be honest with you. Maybe not. There's a few, obviously, they don't. I'm not saying they get into every, but they can get into a few sides, Mane, a great winger. Salah, you obviously got the record goals for numbers in the season. And then the last thing I want to say is because the excuse people say is, oh, the league was competitive then, and they also say, look at the Champions League, look at our representation in the Champions League. Man United did also go to, I believe, back-to-back finals from 06 to 09, Champions League finals. But they lost one, won one, and they won 3 leagues in a row. Yeah, but that league was competitive. Whereas, and then when they said, oh yeah, Chelsea was also, Chelsea competed in the Champions League final in that year. But that was the same year that Man United won it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why Tottenham won it. Tottenham got to the Champions League final just as Chelsea did. So why is it back then it was competitive, but now it's not? Looking at the likes of Jack Grealish, a superstar player. You couldn't tell me that Jack Grealish back in 08 that's playing for Aston Villa type side in 07, 08, if that makes sense. You're looking at Leicester. You get what I'm saying? Who's the Leicester team? Those I wouldn't say mid-table, but those teams that's from like 5 to like 8, they're comfortably better than the way it was back then. Comfortably. Don't forget there was a top 4 back then, You're going to say that the standards have slipped, but there was a top 4 back then and people weren't getting in. Right now, Arsenal obviously not a top 6 side. They're 6 now. But Leicester are right up there in the mix. You get what I'm saying? You got Leicester, you got Tottenham, you got Chelsea, you got Man United, you got City, you got 5 quality teams. I'm talking about good sides. You got Everton, who are rolling not so much recently, but they're doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? These are sides where the football is much better. Now, obviously, they don't express themselves as much more. That's what I want to say. That one thing I will say. Back then, they did express themselves a bit more. Back then, it wasn't more stats based, if that makes sense. Back then, it wasn't about all the numbers and chances created and all stuff. It was about enjoying the football. It's watching a good game of football. Obviously, that's the one thing I preferred watching the football back then. But to come out and now say that Liverpool are playing in a weakened era, it's just bemusing to me. I think it's a lot of it comes from fans who their team are obviously not as good now. So my United fans, a lot of Arsenal fans say it. A lot of Chelsea fans say the league is weak now. No, bruv. You can't say the league was strong from 06 to 09 when one team won it 3 times in a row. How does that make sense? But you lot let me know. Has the league gone down? Or what is it? I mean, why is it, or was the league just better then? You know, just let me know in the comments below. Do make sure you like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy Max on the 3 Point Show. We're out.